Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mental Health Talk. It is me, Christina McIntyre. So, I hope that y'all had the best week that y'all could. And remember that whatever happened yesterday or this past week, we can't worry about today. It's a new day, and we must look forward to the future. You can always follow me on Instagram at Become Your C, Facebook BYC Become Your C, TikTok at Become Your C, and also YouTube. Go there and subscribe, BYC Become Your C, so you can stay up to date on all my latest podcasts. Before I get into today's topic, I wanted to let people know that no matter where you are in your journey to healing, everything doesn't work for everyone. So sometimes we got to go through some trials and errors and never feel bad for making a decision that is best for you. Sometimes the opinions of other people affect us because we're listening to them and not our inner selves. All the answers that we need is within. And if we learn how to trust our internal voice, things can go a whole lot smoother. I talk about mental health because it's a serious illness that a lot of people suffer from. 1 in 5 suffer from mental health illness each year, and 1 in 20 suffer from extreme mental health illness each year. So it's important that we know ourselves, right? Know when we have to go get help. Some people can have mental health illness and live fine without any help on the outside, but there are others that need therapy. They need medication. They need an outlet such as religion, or what I offer is the holistic approach to mental health. Anything that you choose to do, you need to be consistent in doing it so it can work, right? You can't, let's say, for example, you can't try to lose weight and only eat great one day a week or only exercise one day and expect to gain results. Being proactive in your healing is going to require you to make a commitment, just like you do with anything else. And I urge you to get the help that you need before it can transpire into something more difficult later down the line. The faster that we attack an issue, the better the outcome is. We want to improve our quality of life. We're only here for a certain amount of time. And so we need to live and not just exist. And I know a lot of times when you have mental health disorders, you feel like you're just existing, right? The voices in your head, the outburst. You want to be able to enjoy life and not just feel like you're in a robotic state, just passing it by. Mental health illness can leave you isolated and feeling depressed and sad often, but there's ways to go about it. Like for me, I don't have great days every day, but I still push through them days. I urge you to do this too. Set mini goals for yourself each day, because sometimes we do too much and it could get overwhelming. And if we are already suffering, that's going to just maybe push us over the edge. So set some goals for yourself every day for you to accomplish, right? And once you accomplish them, if you feel like you have it in you to do more, then do more. But don't try to do more to please someone else because they feel like you're not doing enough. You're okay just the way you are. But if you want to change, that's okay too. Dealing with mental health issues is going to require you, though, to change your mindset. And this is by doing repetitive behaviors like mindfulness and speaking positive affirmations. I encourage meditation, self-reflection. There are things that you can do. The foods that we eat can make our mental health illness worse. Lack of activity, lack of social support. There are a lot of things that can contribute this, but at the end of the day, we have to be active in our healing process. knowing when to reach out, knowing what we need to do to ensure that we receive the best quality of service all around. And again, it is still a stigma on mental health illness. Some people think you're crazy or you're making stories up. No one wants to deal with this. It's difficult, right? You have something that you cannot see, and it's a mental thing, and it's hurting you. You're like fighting constantly with yourself all the time to have some peace. And it can be draining. A lot of people that deal with mental health disorders are fatigued. They want to sleep most of the time because it's a battle. And this is what I'm going to go into today. The truth about panic and anxiety disorder, because it's important, because a lot of people suffer from panic and anxiety. And I think it's good to know like the symptoms, good to know some facts, so that when you come across a situation where you're having a panic and anxiety attack yourself, you don't freak out, because you can freak out, especially if you never had one before. They said that most people will have 1 and 2 in their lifetime. So dealing with panic and anxiety, when it becomes a disorder, it's a repetitive or reoccurring episodes of panic and anxiety. So if you find yourself like every day or every other day having them, most likely you have a disorder. Again, you have to get properly diagnosed, because, just medically, if you decide to take medication or anything else, but you know your body, you know yourself, you know when something is not going right. And it is not shameful to want to get help. It's okay. We go to get help for the doctor when physically we're wrong, podiatrist when our feet aren't acting the way they're supposed to. So why is it so wrong to go get mental help that you need? It's not. And some people don't believe in therapy or medication, and that's fine. There are other ways that you can combat it, but don't let your mental health disorder control your life. So many people have lost their life because it's not that like they gave up. I truly understand how it feels to have everything spiraling out of control and you don't know what to do, so you go to the last resort. So I want to prevent people from taking the last resort, because everyone has a right to be here. Everyone has purpose, and everyone is unique in their own way. And when we start to heal, we can become who we are supposed to be. The trauma, the pain that we have, if we don't tackle it on, because mental health disorders can be brought on by trauma. It can be genetic, environment, chemical. So once we learn how to combat these, we can start to live a more fulfilling life. So, saying that to say, so today is the truth about panic and anxiety, right? So this is a big number. So 1 in 5 people suffer from mental health illness each year. That's roughly about 53 million people. And here goes a big number. That's about 21%. 48 million people suffer from anxiety. It's called panic and anxiety is grouped together. So an anxiety disorder each year. 48 million people. That's 19.1%. So panic and anxiety is the highest reoccurring mental health illness in the United States each year, followed by bipolar depressive, and that is only 8%. So this is a really common disorder that needs to be addressed, right? I remember when I started having panic and anxiety, and this is why I can't have caffeine. I was working, going to school, doing a whole bunch of stuff, so I was drinking large amounts of caffeine, not realizing I used to go to the hospital so often, not realizing what it was. Heart palpitations. I would like just feel so overwhelmed in public. I was at work one day and I had to wind up going to the hospital, and of course it subsided by the time I got to the hospital. I didn't realize until like 2-3 years ago the symptoms of it, right? You feel it. It literally makes you feel like you're gonna die, which is the sad part. It resembles having a heart attack. So if you are at that point where you do feel some pressure in your chest, by all means go get checked out. But you also know yourself. So I know myself, right? I haven't had a severe one in a while, but the last time I did, it's always the same. You start feeling foggy headed. You can't really breathe. Your chest start hurting, and you get fearful, right? And so what I started doing, if I get that severe, for me, I get in touch with nature. So I'll go outside with my crystals and I'll put my feet on the ground and I just breathe until I come back to reality. Usually it takes about 20 to 30 minutes, but that's what works for me. I got tired of going to the hospital because by the time you get there, all the feelings subside. And so I had to learn how to recognize when I was having a panic or an anxiety attack. I can't prevent them. I try to control what I eat. I eliminated caffeine out of my diet because of this, but I still get them. Sometimes, like I had a mini one today, which is not too bad. I learned how to breathe through them or take my mind off of stuff. It could be various reasons why you have panic and anxiety, and knowing what the pinpoint is can help you in the long run. So, what is anxiety, right? Panic and anxiety, let me tell you, is almost similar. And I try to do research and try to figure out what's going on. But then at the end of the day, when you start having those pains in your chest, it's one or the other. So anxiety is the noun. An episode of mild to severe worry and distress. So if you're constantly under a lot of stress and worry, you can trigger an anxiety attack. It's about not being able to control what's going on. So you're fearful, you're in constant fear. So that constant state of fear can trigger some physical symptoms. What is panic? Panic is for the future. Sudden episode or intense fear that triggers physical reactions when there is no immediate danger or apparent cause. So anxiety is extreme worry and stress, and so panic is being fearful that something is going to happen, right? And you're in immediate danger. It can be difficult, right? A lot of people suffer from this for various reasons. PTSD, maybe you were in an abusive relationship, maybe you had childhood trauma. Also, like I said, certain foods can be a trigger. You can also have a physical illness that can be tied into panic and anxiety. Also, your environment plays a role. I was just learning that the air pollution can affect people's, can cause physical or mental health illnesses. Also, what else? Panic, anxiety, illness, the mental, physical. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say. So they are almost similar, except one worries about the future and one worries about the now. So anxiety is attached to now. Remember, anxiety, now, extreme worry, and stress. Panic, the future. You're fearful of immediate danger or some type of cause. So I'm going to do a little breakdown of the symptoms because they're almost similar, and it's really kind of hard to tell. Only you know for yourself what's going on with your body. And again, a lot of us have them and don't even know why. But I guarantee you, if you sit down and pay attention to what's going on in your life, extreme stress is hard on the body. And it can trigger a thing. You could be a person that never had one before, but all of a sudden you find yourself having it. If you're in toxic environments, I'm talking about, the air pollution and also people, when you put yourself in those environments, it can cause panic and anxiety because you feel like you shouldn't be here. And all of that just builds up. So, symptoms of anxiety and panic. So I'm going to try to do as much. Also, that's what I wanted to say. So since panic and anxiety resemble real physical illness, you should definitely go get checked out, because having panic and anxiety can be linked to diabetes, right? I remember when I was in therapy, my therapist made me go get a physical just to rule out any underlying issues, and you should do the same, especially if you're in therapy, to make sure it's not something physically going on with you that's causing these. Because diabetes, your sugar goes up, it goes down, it can cause heart palpitations, so it's important that you get assessed correctly. Okay, symptoms of anxiety. This is every day. You have adrenaline increase, hyperventilation. So hyperventilation is like you're trying to catch your breath, like, right? Caused by temporary stress. Also generalized anxiety disorders, that's what is characterized. Something will go wrong. You have fear. Your nervousness, your trembling, lack of focus, can't concentrate, weakness, and fatigue. So these are some symptoms of anxiety disorder. So if some of them are relatable to you, you may want to sit down with a therapist. I would say your regular doctor too, as well. Maybe they could recommend, but regular doctors are not in the field to help with mental health, so they may can recommend you. But if these connect with you, please do your own research. Please reach out to someone, especially if you're recurring them. I know people that was having a lot of episodes every day, and they had to wind up getting on medication to help alleviate, some of the pain. These disorders can be really hard on you physically and especially mentally, because after you have one, you feel drained, you feel sleepy, you feel like your brain is getting squashed. It's a lot of symptoms, and a lot of times people don't understand. Like, I've had panic and anxiety attacks driving. I've had being in a large crowd of people, and I have to just sit there with it myself. But if you're ever in a situation where you need to get away for a few minutes to get yourself together, then by all means do that. You don't owe anyone an explanation now. If people ask, you can let them know. So I will tell people now, especially if I'm having one, like, hey, I'm having a panic and anxiety attack or anxiety attack. So most of the time mine comes from not eating enough, not drinking enough water. So most of the time when I do start to eat, like yesterday or Friday, I was out. I had breakfast, but I was out all day, and it was lunchtime. I was starving. I started having one. I was on a bus, and I started feeling like I was getting dizzy. So I know I had to hurry up and get something. And once I ate, I was fine. So know where you're at. So symptoms for panic. This is multiple. Something bad is about to happen or will happen. Lightheadedness, dizzy, chest pains, rapid heartbeats, heart palpitations, losing control, again, hyperventilation, headaches, sweating, chills, nausea, numbness, and suicidal thoughts. So having these disorders can definitely impact your whole mental health. They can get to the point where they're so severe that you feel like suicide is the only option. And that's why I want people to get the help that they need without feeling like it's something shameful to do. Like, you need help, and that's okay. And there are people out there that is in the field specifically for that. You got to get the help that you need so you can live life you want. It can be hell living with panic and anxiety, because it takes a toll on your body, having them over and over again, thinking something's going to happen, it's not. And you also have to know yourself too. What's a trigger? Sometimes panic or anxiety attack can be brought on by a trigger, so definitely know yourself. Factors for anxiety: personality, uh, substance abuse, being female. So most of the time it's females that suffer from anxiety, but men do as well. And I'm seeing more and more men starting to get it. Trauma, stress, pre-existing mental health issues, and genetics, right? Genetics play a role. If you look at your family history, like for me, a lot of people in my family have mental health disorders. So I know part of mine is genetic, right? And that's biological, but mine is also chemical as well and environmental. So it can be a lot of factors. And I also suffer from depression and OCD and PTSD. So it's a lot of disorders that I have, and many people that have one most likely will have another. Also, factors for panic, more common in women, have with agoraphobia, genetics, stress, loss of job, anxiousness, other mental health issues, alcohol, drug abuse, again, smoking. So the symptoms for panic and anxiety are almost the same because they are similar. Like panic is a form of an anxiety disorder. That's how they categorize it. Just, I guess, to make it simpler. It's good to know yourself, and it's good to know your triggers, right? I know for me, certain smells or certain places, certain people, I don't want to be around because they're a trigger for me, right? And if you ever find yourself that you can't, around people that you can't be yourself, that can cause panic and anxiety, not being able to be comfortable. So know your surroundings, know yourself, know when you need to remove yourself from a situation. It's okay to choose you first, right? At the end of the day, we're all we have, and we need to make sure that we're taken care of. So people that have panic and anxiety also have these symptoms. So these are other mental health: major depressive disorder, PTSD, social anxiety disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. So there's a lot of different anxiety disorders. Social anxiety is you get fearful of social situations. So that is me to an extent. I know what I need to do, what I want to do in life. I have to be around people, but I still am not comfortable in large crowds. So what I do is I know my limit and I push myself a little bit. And if I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to put myself in that situation, even if other people thinking it's okay. So if you know yourself, if you know, like, let's say you get invited to a party and it's going to be like 200 people and you only know one person, and then you're thinking it beforehand and it's increasing the anxiety, maybe that might not be the best time for you to attend. Not that you should always be afraid, because sometimes when we suffer, we have to push ourselves to get what we want out of life. But don't put yourself in a position that is going to make you feel worse. Assess yourself beforehand. Some medical issues that are associated with mental disorder: asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, high blood pressure, coronary heart disease, irritable bowel syndrome, and diabetes. You gotta think, right? When you're stressed, it puts trauma to your body. When you're nervous, you do get an upset stomach. You feel like you might need to throw up. And I relate this to dealing with the chakras, right? When we hold everything and when we're stressed, right, it kind of binds us so we can't go to the bathroom. It can create more issues. Asthma is relatable because you're always trying to catch your breath. And so if you're doing that, it can cause these. And also with your heart, it's like, how much pressure can your heart take, right? So these factors can affect not just mental stuff, but physical stuff as well. That's why it's important to try to get this under control, because everything is connected. Our physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental is all connected. Those four aspects are all connected. So when they're not aligned right, it's going to throw us all off. Okay. How do you get properly diagnosed? So you have to go to the doctor in order to get properly diagnosed. I went to therapy, so long ago, but I'm glad I did. I decided not to take the medication route. I decided to take therapy in the beginning. I think sometimes, and it's okay to go for a little bit and not go. Like, I had to stop because, again, I couldn't afford it. But it's important that you find, if you choose therapy, to find one that fits with you. Don't go to no one that is just constantly looking down at their book. They're not giving you eye to eye. You need to be able to trust someone with your inner feelings and thoughts. And if that person is just worrying about taking notes, they're not there for you, right? So make sure you do your research, and you might have to go through a few therapists before you find one that fits you. But make sure you find the best one that is connected with you. What can you do if you're faced with a panic and anxiety attack? So, always, you gotta breathe first, right? When you're having one, it takes your breath away. So, like, I'm having a mini one now, but it's okay. Like, you have to learn how to breathe. And a lot of us just breathe, but don't deep breathe. We need to breathe from our stomach, right? Our stomach is our power source, right? That's connected to the solar plexus. So we need to breathe from the power source. And you need to inhale and exhale. Do that first. Assess yourself, because if you have repeated panic and anxiety, you know how it feels. That's why I don't run to the hospital more, because I know, okay, it's coming, so I need to do something about it. I go to YouTube. That's where I kind of started learning how to meditate. Meditation will teach you how to breathe properly if you don't know how to already. And when you learn how to control your breathing, you can help a lot of things. Meditation is also good for high blood pressure. Also, like I do, my blood pressure was up due to stress in like February. And so I had to learn how to kind of take control of my thoughts, which breathing helps, meditation helps. Talking it out with someone while you're having a panic and anxiety can also help. I find take your mind off of things. For me, if I know that I feel an increased panic anxiety, I like to cook or bake. Especially if I'm home, just to take my mind off of it, because I'm focused on something else. I'm not worrying about what's going on mentally with me, right? I want to make sure I get this food out properly. So try to take your mind off of it, and maybe take a shower, go take a walk. Music is always a good tool for anything. Like, I love listening to music with headphones on and just vibe away. So do those things that you need to take your mind off of it. Some things you can't control, right? But other things you can. We can't control what goes on around us, but we can control what goes on in us. So if you're stressed, try to de-stress your life as much as possible. I'm a big stress ball, and I'm learning some strategies to learn how to deal with stress better. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I just try to practice every day. So de-stress yourself. If you're at a job that's causing you stress, you may have to take a pay cut just so that you can live a better life. Everything is temporary. It's not going to last always. So you can get to where you need to be, but you have to put your health first, because if your health is failing, you're not going to be able to perform properly. Like, dealing with mental health issues, if you don't treat it properly, it can affect other areas in your life. If you need to take medicine, take them, right? It's not shameful to have to take medication. It's whatever works for you. Knowing that some medications do have side effects, sometimes you may have to try different medications to see which one works for you. But if you choose in that, because yours is so sorry, excuse me. So if you choose to do medication, knowing that that's the best option for you, you do your research on it, And remember, it's all trial and error. So you may try one medication and it doesn't work for you, so you might have to try something else. So be prepared to not find a solution right away. Again, this is trial and error. If you want the holistic approach, which I follow, dealing with the chakras, that takes time and commitment too. What the chakra journey teaches me is how to heal internally so I can manifest the life that I want, so I can heal my body. It's a journey. I started like 3 years ago and I'm not healed yet, right? I'm still trying to figure out what's going on the inside. So if you choose that option, it is an option. It's not, I'm not going to say it's not difficult. It's just that you have to be committed to your healing process, and everything is internal. Everything about this holistic approach, dealing with the chakras, is energies, right? We have mental health disorders or physical illness because this energy that's blocked in our body and can't get out. This is how I deal with my everyday life and my mental issues, because it brings me peace and I feel more comfortable achieving this way. I don't know what's going to happen in 10, 15 years from now if I need to be on medication or do something else. But for me, this has been working for me for the last 3 years. And yeah, again, like anything, some days are good and bad. There's no quick fix. Nothing is 100% a cure. Even with medication, it's not it may work one day and may not work at all. So again, or if you're in therapy, it might work for a little bit and it might stop working. Everything requires a commitment, and you just have to be consistent in your efforts in trying to help yourself. You have to be proactive in helping yourself, especially if you want help from others. You can't expect others to help you if you're not willing to do the work, and that's required to help yourself. Find your triggers: food, people, and environments. So, if you know that food is going to cause a panic and anxiety, I do this to myself every now and then, but I don't do caffeine no more. I might have too much dark chocolate, and of course, it has caffeine. No, even too much gluten for some people that have a gluten allergy can trigger a panic and anxiety attack. Certain citrus, I can't even talk, citrus fruits and vegetables can trigger panic and anxiety. Dairy can be a culprit of why you are suffering. So know your body. Pay attention to what you're putting. Our bodies respond to the food that we eat, and especially nowadays, a lot of the foods is linked to other diseases. Pay attention to what you put in your mouth. Not saying you can't enjoy some meals sometime, but try to do better and make better choices in the quality of food you choose to put in your body. People, this is hard because we love people. We want to be connected. But if those people are causing you extreme stress and you're constantly worried, or you're in a relationship that could be abusive, and that's one of the reasons why I have PTSD. You have to remove yourself from the situation in order for it to get it better. The longer you stay in a toxic environment, the more damage it causes and the more time it takes to heal. So pay attention around you. And this is also work environment too. Work people can be a trigger for panic and anxiety. And your environment, pay attention to your surroundings. A lot of houses, air pollution, and how your neighbors are, right? Where you live affects how you feel on the inside. Constant worrying about your safety can be a trigger for panic and anxiety. Or if you got nosy neighbors and they're always watching and you're worrying about if somebody's watching you, that can be a trigger. So pay attention. Sometimes we have to change our life in order for us to get better, and that may require for us to move, change jobs, eat better, but you can do it. I'm not gonna say it's not difficult. It's a challenge, but you can over time. When you start doing things repetitively, it becomes a routine, and then you don't have to worry about it so much. And then also, panic and anxiety could come from genetics, biological, chemical, and environment. I already talked about this. Could be one, or it could be all of them. And for me, it's genetics, which is biological, chemical, environment, and then I'll throw spiritual in there as well, because that's how I see bring me. It's like whatever brings you peace. So I don't go crazy, or other people don't go crazy. I attach the spiritual side of it, because some of us, require spiritual healing. And this was good about the holistic approach, because you have to look at all the factors, because every factor affects how we are. And so having a spiritual side to it can ease some of the pain that we suffer from. You only can be in charge of yourself. Try to eliminate what you can and focus on what you can do to improve. Take each day as it comes. Most importantly, you gotta breathe, especially dealing with panic and anxiety. You have to learn how to breathe. Go to YouTube and put on some meditation. Do some beginner's meditation, and then they will teach you how to breathe properly. Every day is not the same, and you got to treat it as such. That's why I think it's important to create these goals for yourself, right? I started doing them, and I make sure, no matter what, that I meet these goals every day. It's like, it's many goals that I set for myself, but these are some like bigger goals, and I make sure that I do them. And then if I have the energy to do more, I will. But I will not put too much on myself. So know how much you can handle, but also don't sleep on yourself. Make sure you're being active. The more active we are, the better it is for our mental health, right? It boosts our mood. Get out and exercise, right? Exercise is so important, not just physically, but mentally as well. When you exercise, you release them endorphins and you feel so much better. I know if I'm really sad at the beginning of the exercise, during it, I get empowered. And then when I'm done, like today, I didn't want to clean my apartment. I was like kind of tired when I started my exercise. In the middle of it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. As soon as I got done, I got my cleaning done. So that was one project I got done today. So do that list, right? Meditate, exercise, try to eat healthy. Make a list of goals for each day and accomplish them. And if you can do more, you can. But never do more than what your energy can handle, right? Sometimes our thinking contributes to our issues, and they do. But when you suffer from mental health issues, it's all about how your thought process is. And it taking time to change that, or it takes time to change that. So don't be so hard on yourself if you're not where you want to be. Remember, this is a journey towards self-discovery. It's going to take time to unravel everything that's inside you. So you got to give yourself space and room to grow. One moment at a time, and you got this, right? We got this. We can handle it. We're not going to let it take over our life, because it can get so bad to the point where you don't feel like leaving. Years ago, I was fearful of going outside. And it's so much better now. I'm not still where I want to be, but it's so much better. Give yourself that space and that room to grow, and then try. If you have a fear of something, not that go at it like full force, just do a little bit at a time. Like if you have a fear of speaking, try these lives, then move on to a bigger platform, then a bigger platform, and ease it in. That way you get adjusted to it at the speed that you want to. Don't think that there is something wrong with you because you're suffering from a mental health disorder. That's just one aspect of who you are. That doesn't make up your entire self. So be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to be open to different ways of healing, so that you can find one that fits you and your lifestyle and how you want to be. And that's pretty much what I have for you today. I hope that y'all don't suffer in silence, that you please reach out to someone. You can always have a conversation with me. I'm open to talk about mental health disorders. Also, if you're interested about the holistic approach to mental health, you can message me as well. There are groups on Facebook. That's where I used to go in the beginning. Seek out if you have a trusted friend or family member. If you don't, sometimes social media can be as important as well. You need that type of people around you to help support you in your process to healing. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Become Your C, Facebook, BYC Become Your C, YouTube, BYC Become Your C. All my podcasts are on there. So if you're ever interested in listening to different topics, go on there and subscribe. Also, I'm on TikTok at Become Your C. I want you to leave today better than you were. I want you to get the help that you need so you can become your true self. You don't have to suffer in silence. I know a lot of us do because of the stigma, but there are people that's willing to help you. You just gotta open yourself up a little in order to get the help that you need. Today, write that list. Learn how to meditate. Learn how to breathe. Learn how to live so you don't have to just exist. Till next time, fall in love with yourself so the world can fall in love with you.